There we go. Okay, we are week 3 of our whatever we're calling this thing that we're doing, the mastermindy thing. That's it. We're doing it. It's week 3. So this is what I want to do today. And I hope that this is okay. And I know we have kind of a smaller group of us, but I want to hear takeaways from you guys, of course. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go through the call. And so as we're talking about pieces, I want you guys to just throw it in. If you guys have something to share, please do. Don't wait to be called on unless I'm like calling somebody out. And usually I only do that to people that I know really well and that I know won't like just leave the call. So for some of you guys, don't worry. I will not put everybody on the spot. But yeah, I love listening to people who are full of passion and purpose. And I was listening to this again just this morning right now so that I would have it fresh in my brain for when we started. Gosh, it just gets you fired up, hey? So I'd love to hear from you guys. Who do you listen to on YouTube from Plexus? Like, I'm not talking podcasts. Who do you listen to? Because some of you guys might not know to do this. Some of you guys might not do it at all. Who do you guys listen to? What jewels, what trainers, who do you guys listen to? Who kind of like gets your butt on fire?
I really like Brooke Hemingway. No, Pam, don't talk. Sorry, my husband thought I was talking to him.
Tell him hi.
Hi from the group. Okay, you can talk.
Hi back. She always tells me not to talk.
Sorry, I really like Brooke Hemingway and Emily Gibson. They seem to be a great team.
They really are, hey? Yeah, for sure. And Sherry echoes that too. She loves Brooke. I assume that that's the Brooke. We have like 3 or 4 Brooks that are diamonds that are just amazing. We've got like Brooke Hemingway, Brooke Knitz, Brooke, and I can't say Matamorus or something like that. There's 2 O's somewhere in her name and it starts with a ma that I could just totally be butchering. Carrie, are you gonna share or just unmuting because
Oh, I was being polite. I have found a lot of diamonds and unfollowed a lot of diamonds to find the perfect match for me. And for me, that's been Ashley Kinzel, who is also a pastor's wife. So that's where I connect, right? And Cassie Rainey, Kyle and Cassie both. I really like their perspective, their personalities, everything. So
yeah, and
if
Cassie shared on the wellness review.
Yes. Yeah. And there's other pastors' wives, but I maybe don't click as well with them. So finding the right ones for me has been super awesome.
Awesome. So the first one that she mentioned was Ashley Kinzel. It's Kintzel. If you guys are looking, she's got a great Instagram, but she's also, around Facebook and whatever else too. Anybody else want to share somebody that just really lights you up?
I really like listening to Amber Miller. She's just such a, I don't know. I just like listening to her.
I love her too. I had actually tried to screen record something and then I kind of squirreled out of her stories and I wish I would have captured it. Did you watch her stories this week, Stacey? Do you watch her stories?
No, this week's been insane. No.
So she showed how you can set a reminder on your phone. So like you set notes on your phone. And then you can actually set a reminder so that it pops up right here. And it's like your list of things to do. So it'll actually stick it on your home screen, which I thought was so, so brilliant. Because she said, if you're really protecting your time on your phone, you want to make sure that the only things you're doing on your device are the ones that you are intentionally doing. So she said, as soon as she picks up her phone, there's her list of like the 4 things that she's going to do today on her phone, and that's it. And they look at her every time. I was like, that is so brilliant.
That's smart. I like that.
Yeah. I might have been able to screen record it without any volume. So I'm not sure that that actually gives us anything, but I did figure out something else about that that's way easier. But anyway, I digress. Okay, let's dive in. Oh, you guys all know my love for Fallon Black, or if you don't, or Fallon Rabe is her new last name, R-E-E-B. But I should just look. I'm just gonna look to see if she changed her. I wonder if she changed her YouTube channel. Nope, she has not changed her YouTube channel. She is still Fallon Black on YouTube. And she just posted a video called What You Need to Stop Doing about a week ago. And it is in my queue for things to listen to. I love how she built her team. And I'm usually talking all about Fallon Black. Okay, so I loved how Christy started this call out. And she said, the only two things, so she was talking about this guy that had been, he owns his own business or whatever, and he joined. Oh, apparently I'm supposed to stop and dance. It's a change your state alarm. Sorry. So she was talking to a guy who is, I think she said he's an emerald. He's now an emerald on their team. And he was saying, you guys have got it going on. Like, you don't need to fire people. You don't need to deal with employees. You don't need to deal with like a storefront or whatever. She said, he said, all you need to do is stay motivated and share. And I was like, I've watched this before. Anybody else have that moment, Sherry? I don't know, maybe you're with me. I'd be like, I've heard this before, but why did that just feel like an asteroid just hit me? Did that hit anybody else?
Yeah, it totally spoke to me for sure. And like just the way she said it, talked about investing in your business. She said, if you're not finding a way to get to convention, you're not seeing this as a legit business, right? Like these are investments that we make into our business. And I have that excuse, like the weekend at convention is like my big business. I don't know. Am I blocking out here?
But I think what she was saying is usually the week of convention is like one of her busiest years because she does grad photos, right? That's what you were going for? Maybe she'll come back. Sherry, what is the number one business? Do you want to share?
Yeah, just in response to Stacy's comment, when we use this as a reason not to do this, we've chosen this as the number one and this at a lower level. And so where we put our time is where we think is the number one thing. It's a choice.
Yeah, it totally is. And you know, sometimes it kind of sucks a little bit because the choice that we make isn't always comfortable, right? Usually it comes with, and what did they say? What was this actually called, right? Paying the price in your business, right? It's foolish and very short-sighted for us to think that we never have to pay a price with Plexus or with a business, right? We are so fortunate that we pay $54.95 a year. And that's really all we have to put out, right? Like there is nothing that makes you spend money on Plexus other than your product, right? And I also loved how she'd said, how did she say that? Like people talk about, oh, but I'm still paying for my product. So that's, you know, a deficit. She's like, no, it's not. You're consuming that. Right? It's a mindset shift. Anybody else have anything on that piece?
I really resonated with the beginning part when she was talking about that because I had a small business. And so I know that there's a lot of costs that you're putting in when you're running a different business and you're putting in a lot of time and you're not seeing the rewards for a long time. And so this with Plexus, it's so different. You're not having to put in that same cost and you're not so alone like you are with a small business. Like you're kind of running it, you're doing it. Whereas Plexus, like you have this group of people, it's completely different. And so just having that perspective of having a business and then looking at this, I just found it really interesting. And just, yeah, you need to invest. That's anybody who has a business has to invest.
Yeah. Well, anybody who wants to have a successful business
Yeah.
needs to invest, right? And I think that we can be really short-sighted because there are no costs that go out, right? I love how she changed that mindset, right? I am worth investing in, right? And I love that she pointed out that there are different ways that people are going to invest. If you struggle with mindset at a certain, like at a gold level, if you struggle with mindset completely and you feel like you're being held back, then you need to really invest in mindset coaching. I think everyone can benefit from mindset coaching for sure. Stacy, your internet might work better to talk if your video is off. So if you have something to share, you're welcome to try.
That's what I'm thinking. Can you hear me at all?
Betcha, totally can.
So this last week, I've been working on upgrading, or not upgrading, but recertifying to be a doula, and also trying to get a little bit more training with my photography. I had to invest a lot of dollars this week in those two things. And I haven't had to invest anything to Plexus. There's free training, there's free YouTube videos, there's all these things that we get to just find on the internet. And I got to drop a $400 tab to get one teeny little course under my belt for a doula recertification. So it's so lucky that we can just do that. And then convention, like they were talking about some conventions for other businesses, you drop over $1,000 just to go. What ours is less than $200 plus, I mean, getting there and hotels, but it's cheap compared to a lot of things that we gotta invest in, right? So
yeah, totally. I totally agree with you. Again, I will say, I love that they titled this whole thing, There's a Price to Pay, because there is, and even if it's not a dollar price, there's skin in the game, right? Anybody who does network marketing knows you've got a certain amount of skin in the game if you're going to be successful, right? Does anybody want to speak to what that has been like for them? What does that mean to you?
I don't want to talk if someone else is ready. Anyone? Any takers?
You're good.
Okay. What I really appreciate is the candidness that they present, because when I joined, it was very much, you can do a business from the nooks and crannies, and it was very romanticized as a business for me. And that is a huge mindset shift to say that, like, there's some grit involved here. You need to invest, you need to earn the time freedom that you will gain, but that doesn't just come when you're a silver or a gold, or right. And you invest for seasons. And so that mindset shift is, I mean, for me, huge, because to just think, well, I should be living my life like a diamond because I do Plexus. Carrie, not yet, right? Like, let's just, pay our dues here. Come on. So yeah, I like how they are just so blunt and straightforward with their team, and they really spell out what it takes and what you have to be willing to sacrifice to do it. And for me, somehow along the way, that message was missed in the beginning. So it's very, very good mindset to go into it with. Yeah.
Like she said, time freedom before you invest the time, like what you're saying, like living like a diamond without that. But you know what? I don't know if you guys caught this. She said it super fast. But Christy Jex actually said, when she was talking about when she was grilling Brooke and Emily about over the weekend, when she was praying about whether she was going to do this as a business and whatever, she's like, can I really do this in 1 hour a day? And she threw that out there. I mean, obviously, depending on how many times you need to regroup the squirrels, it's going to take you more or less time, right? But I agree with you, Carrie. Sometimes it is painted where, oh, you can have a 6-figure income in, 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day. Like, we want to make this sound crazy easy, right? And it needs to be factual. Sorry, Lisa, you had unmuted. I want to hear from you.
I was just going to say, because like the time that you put into it, and again, yeah, it's kind of romanticized in the beginning. You can put in the nooks and crannies and things like that, but in reality, there's more time, which is all positive. So in the past week, I've talked to a couple of my friends who really are struggling financially, and they have a side job at a retail business, and they're away from their family. So I work with them. So Monday to Friday, 8 to 5. They go home. They have young children, both of them. Saturday, Sunday, they go into the retail business. They both work both days. They're away from their families again. And they make, here it's 12. What is minimum wage? I don't even know.
It's like $11.
Yeah. And I think they make 12 because they have maybe like increased responsibility or whatever. But the time that they're putting into it is a full day or even a half a day. They're making $12 an hour. They're away from their families. And they're not going to go higher. They can't go higher than that because one is a key holder, but she still only makes the $12 an hour. So that's as high as she can go. I said, well, what about a management position? Like, is that a possibility for you? She's like, no, this manager is not retiring. She's young, obviously. So she's one that actually was on Plexus and stopped, but she was with somebody else. And it's tough she's one you can also be really real with too. But there's so much time that they put into the job that's not going to go anywhere. Whereas we can put a couple hours in a day and it can go somewhere. I could be doing contract work on the weekend, looking, being a mentor for somebody with special needs or intellectual disabilities. I could be doing that in the evenings and stuff like that, but I could be also home and putting an hour in and paying $53 a year into my business and taking free training, which is what I typically do. And the max I've spent is $25 on like the peer coat. I can't even remember what it was. $25 for, I think it was just the Slim Possible, but that wasn't even training, but it was beneficial too, right? So there's so much free stuff and only time is what you're spending. And it's easy to move up from there if you want to.
For sure. And I think in the beginning, you can tell somebody like, yeah, you know what, if you want to make a little bit extra money, yeah, sure, you can share with this person, you can share with that person, you can read some testimonies, you can do whatever. If this is what you want, there you go. But then, I don't know if you guys are like me, but I get on a passion trail and I'm like, oh my gosh, but the mushroom does this and this and this and this and this. And there goes like 45 minutes of my life researching mushrooms from Immune Plus because it's igniting a fire in me. And now I have to go and I have to message a whole bunch of people because they need to know about the mushroom, just the one mushroom. The other mushroom is pretty dang cool too, but I've only, right? I have actually read about both mushrooms, you guys, like mind blowing. And we get passionate. And that's where this business is not just about exchanging product for money, right? It's, oh my gosh, I figured out how this can fill a void in your life and you need to know it now, right? And so all of a sudden then you look up and you're like, wow, okay, well that did not take 15 minutes of my time, right? If you're doing this and if you're passionate about it, it's gonna run over, right? And
it doesn't feel like work.
A lot of the times it doesn't, yeah. And I'm glad you said that, Lisa, because there are times in our businesses where it can feel like work. And that's when we're missing the mark. That's when we have gotten caught in areas where we are not finding joy. And the other piece to it too, I find, is sometimes it's when we've settled for just being okay. And we've allowed that passion to go from up here to like down here. And we camp on that whole, it's okay, it'll happen. Even if it took me 7 years to get to diamond. it doesn't have to. Yeah. You know what? Is it worth it? For sure. Anybody else would turn down, 7 years of learning Plexus to be making over 400 and some thousand and touching that many lives and, whatever? Nobody would. But I think sometimes we are okay with being mediocre because A, it's too scary to change. There's a personal growth factor again. Right? I think I can just stop at A. Amy, what did you want to say?
I was going to go back kind of to where Lisa was talking about time putting in, and it doesn't have to feel like work, but it can. But if you do it as a hobby, you get paid as a hobby. If you do it as a business, your starting point is very different than anyone else's because you start with your level of influence. We all know people who have gone silver in 2 weeks. We know people who have worked for a year just to get silver. And that difference is just a starting spot. It's not the ending spot. It doesn't mean the next is going to take that long. It doesn't mean it's not going to take that long. But choosing where you put your time in effectively, because I'm not going to research mushrooms because y'all like doing that. I'm going to ask you the questions. I'm going to hope there's a post.
Oh my God.
It's how to effectively share it. And express it and create and show that value. Apparently, there's a phone thing going on. Do you do a home-based business? Have you ever tried to? And I'm like, first, you're talking too slow. And after it's a machine. After the third sentence, I'm like, and I'm out. Because I now don't even care if you're going to tell me I can make $1 million in a week by jumping on my head. So finding that way to, in that first sentence, ignite some interest, show some care.
Awesome. Awesome. So I want to touch on when she said there were 4 points. There is a price to pay. And the first one is to manage our emotions. What did that say to you guys? Because I'm pretty sure y'all just thought you were buying some vitamins and not being told to manage your emotions when you started, right?
Well, I took it as that when I share it with somebody. When I started, my emotions were fully invested on that person's response. So, hey, I'm doing something cool. Will you do it with me? And they're like, no. And you're crushed and you're questioning yourself. And for some of us, it takes a really long time to just offer the coffee. If they don't want it at this time, we move on because someone else does want it. And they might want it again. So we have to offer it to them again.
So Amy,
but not getting emotionally invested in the reply.
Yeah. Can I ask you, how have you been able to overcome that? Like, so you've been doing this business for a while. And I'm sure there have been a lot of people that have told you no to the coffee. How do you keep going?
Some days I still get stuck. It's actually, sometimes I took a training in the fall about how to process emotions. And it really was a step-by-step on identifying your emotions, evaluating what response you could have, reviewing the Bible on what God says that is good for that emotion. Because every emotion is good. It's just how. And then act on clearing the emotion or moving forward in that emotion. And that helped significantly because I was able to say, okay, why am I reacting, thinking, processing in the, I really, really need them, want them, desperate.
Mhm.
Okay, so is it the day I'm having? Is it this person that I feel very connected to? What are the steps that I can take? And do I know them well enough to even ask some of those questions?
Mhm.
Because maybe my piece on we're creating a relationship was like walking around the ball diamond instead of stepping in to it.
Right. What about, do you guys see the parallel between managing your emotions and overcoming objections? Amanda? Do you see the correlation? Like, let's talk about that. How does managing our emotions help us in overcoming objections? You're unmute. You need to unmute. I wish I had the button. I don't.
Okay. Oh boy, that's really big. Well, if you're over emotional about everyone and everything, you'll never get past a no.
Mhm.
You'll never be okay with a no. Right? Like I've had a lot of no's. Some of them I had to work a little bit harder to get past because there was a lot to that went with it. But they definitely go side by side. Like if you're so invested in every single no that you stop working for a week because you got one no, you don't get very far.
We haven't talked about the 20-second pity party for a while. That was always my, okay, you know what, I'll give you 20 seconds. Let's have it out. Let's have her out.
Yeah.
Let's go. Right? And that's
Move on.
okay. You can have,
That's okay. Just don't stay there.
that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Yes, 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 yes. The other piece too is that, do you guys ever come up against a certain objection? Cost, social insurance number, MLM, pick one, right? And where did those typically have their roots? Right? Oh, those, man, managing emotion, ouch, right? Ouch. That's like road rash. Goodness. Didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, they can sting a little bit, but you have to move on.
I signed up to poop. I did not sign up to be a grown up about my emotions. They talk about the scarcity mentality. You guys heard a lot about this, the idea between scarcity and abundance, and how those things can really, really mess you up, right? If you're looking at everything
Yes.
through scarcity. Go ahead, Amy.
And scarcity is so much broader than what we think of. So and part of that comes from there's a job opening and people send in applications, right? But there's only one job opening. So that's actually a scarcity piece because then there's only one instead of, oh, look, we've gotten all these amazing applicants. Let's find places for them. Because companies actually do that also. And when we talk to one person or we talk to 5 people and they, no, and then one of those people signs up with someone else, oh, now we've just lost one. We've just lost another one. Guess what? There's a lot of people out there. And it takes a really long time to be able to understand which piece of the scarcity is yours, which includes the amount of money that's in your bank account. In a given month, we all have a range that our bank account can sit at. One month we might earn a whole bunch more money. But guess what is in the bank account in a month from now? Same amount that was before the big money. We have a big expense come through. Ouch, that hurts. But almost within a month, the same amount of money is in the bank account. That's also a scarcity piece.
Mm-hmm.
Figuring out how to lift and expand those numbers. How much leftovers? Because apparently my son could not find the leftovers from last night that he really wanted to eat. No more leftovers. It was devastating. It's okay. We'll get leftovers again. Might be a while.
Yeah. Hey, have you guys ever thought about scarcity mentality in the way that you look at somebody? Let's use the business as a, for example, maybe you look at one of the incredibly successful women on this call and you go, wow, she's really successful. That's amazing. I wish I could do that. I'll never be as good as her. Or, oh, really? She started at the same time as I did. Now she's like 6 ranks ahead of me. She's got workers. She's got people. She's got the people. Oh, I wish that was me, but it's not me. And I love the quote. How does it go? How does it start? I cheer for everyone. I believe there's enough sun for all of us. Right? Somebody else's success does not take away from the possibility of your own, especially in this business. How many times over have we heard how many diamonds came out of a teeny little town? I mean, for us in Saskatchewan, I'm sorry, 3,000 people is not a tiny little town. But if you're talking 5 diamonds in a facility, like in a vicinity of only 3,000 people, you guys, like that, those 3,000 people likely are not all on Plexus. But it doesn't matter. We're not marketing a product, right? I'm not selling hairbrushes. And then once everybody in the county has a hairbrush, then we're golden, right? There is enough sun for everyone. You yourself have your own unique market. You yourself have your own unique influence, and you need to grow that influence because there's nobody anywhere who has exactly the same platform, position, purpose as you do. Okay, so we have a price to pay for growth. Kind of talked about that a little bit. It is deafening to me, deafeningly obvious. You can't get by it, that a person is where they are because that is where their personal growth has capped out. And you know what? In a sense, we need to be good with that, right? As long as your intention is to go forward, you need to be okay with it, right? It is not a reflection of how poorly you're doing. It is like, hey, I got to this point. Good for me. There's how many people who didn't even try? I am a silver. I'm a senior silver ambassador. I'm a gosh dang professional. I love that quote from Christy Jacks out of this, right? I'm here because this is where I'm meant to be, and this is my sweet spot right now. And then we have the choice to pay the price to level up, right? And sometimes, again, that comes with a little bit of skin in the game, right? Sherry Grant has done something super cool over the last year, and I've said it over and over and over again because I think it's just such a neat tool in your toolbox, and it's so aligned with who you are, that she stepped out and she went and became John Maxwell certified. Is that something we have to do in Plexus? No. Do you need to go out and become a registered holistic nutritionist so that you know? No. Did you know that a lot of people in Plexus Diamonds and stuff that have health designations actually don't talk about them because they find it a hindrance to their business? How many of you guys thought, oh gosh, if I just knew a little bit more about nutrition, if I just had a certificate on my wall that said I knew the things I know, that it would be way easier. Not true. Not true. You know, Sheila Medina still couldn't tell you the ingredients in Slim. I kind of think that maybe she's just not, I think now it's a thing, right? I don't know what they are. Go read the package. Sheila Medina is the first diamond ever in Plexus. She is the sweetest Southern lady. And she's got some fire to her. Whoosh. But we put up all of these falsehoods in front of us. Oh, well, when I'm here, then I'll be able to grow my business. Oh, when I know this, then I'll be able to grow. Oh, if I just spend an hour every day sifting through my back office and systems, and then I will magically become the next. What did we say at the beginning? Stay motivated and share. That's it. It'd be good to know your back office ish. When people ask me where stuff is in the back office, you guys, honestly, I don't know. Go use the search button. And then I get crabby because if I can't find something via the search button, then I go and tell the Canadian people that make things pop up in the search button, because I'm like, everything should be figure outable via the search button. That should be where people can go and find the price list. Why isn't it here? Hopefully I actually need to write myself a note and check on it, make sure that that's actually here. Be willing to be new at things and not an expert. Okay, so what did that tell you? Because it told me that my perfectionism needs to go take a seat way over there. Like down the street, around the corner. Keep going. I do not need to be perfect at something when I start out being new at it. Again, I will reference Leona Jansen because I think that it is the most brilliant thing that I have heard when sharing product. Standing at her eye, I can still see her in my mind. Like I feel like I have this video in my head. She's leaning on her island and she's got a bottle. I'm sure it's a bottle of Biocon in front of her, and she's got a group of people in her house, and I'm sharing the business. We just did like a team dinner. It was like one of the first team dinners we ever did. I drove up Saskatoon, and they took me to Newenlog. Like, they're gonna take me into the middle of nowhere and dump me off somewhere. She's leaning on her counter, and she's like, I don't even know how these things work, but I think that they do. So I think you guys should try them, but I don't know. Like, it was so duplicatable. It was like, I don't know, but I can poop. It's great. Try it. 60-day money back guarantee. Right? Be willing to be new at things. It is okay if you get to tell somebody, I actually don't know the answer to that, but I will find it for you. Do you know how much confidence that gives somebody?
I was actually just going to say that, that's one of the reasons why I pushed her off for a little bit, but one of the reasons why I knew that it was something that I could do, that this was something that I could do, that the products worked, is because she just said they did. She didn't tell me I had to be an expert. Nope.
You don't need to know about the
She
mushroom.
didn't say that I had to know all the things. She just said they work for me, and I think they can work for you. So I think you need to try them. I was like, okay.
What was I listening to the other day? I love that you said that, because somebody said, maybe it was in the wellness reveal, people actually don't care. They just want to know if you think it's going to work for them.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if anybody,
I've done this kind of thing before, and I'm not an expert.
If anybody doesn't know, Amanda is Leona's sister, and she's her level 1. So just put that out there. Yeah,
She made it really simple.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of which, she persevered with you. I remember persevering with you.
Yes, she did.
We persevere, right? That's something else that costs.
We had a lot of walls. Yep.
We persevere. Sometimes there are seasons where we get in a funk. Sometimes you end up in a global pandemic and you wonder why you need more support. Just off the top of my head, because, you know, it might come up. Anybody have a, for instance, of perseverance in their business? Sometimes you have to persevere because of your leader. Sometimes your leader tests your perseverance. In a good way. But here's a newsflash for you guys, in case, and I want to talk lots more about this. I know you're going to want to write this down. Your leader is flawed. Totally fallible. I'm so sorry to tell you that. Leanne, Carrie, totally flawed. Carrie, Janelle, completely flawed. There may be things in your relationship with your leadership that you need to persevere. That's okay. Part of it. Did you know your leader isn't actually responsible for you building your business? Ouch, road rash, other cheek. Yep.
I want to follow that up.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to read Sherry's comment quick because I realized that we don't have comments when we have the recording. Sherry said,
Yes. Go ahead.
With be willing to be new. I don't know about that, but what I can tell you is ... my friend so-and-so, and then you tell a story. You don't need to learn the ingredients and what this does and that does and whatever. Pay attention to the stories. It's a brilliant, brilliant thought. Thank you, Sherry. Sorry, Amy. What?
I'm going to follow that up because for quite a long time, the line in working the business was the speed of the leader is the speed of the team.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm tossing that out as a limiting belief.
Amen.
Because just what you said, Janelle, we are each our own business owners, builders. It's our business. And that means that someone that you're leading may be going at a different speed than you.
Mm-hmm.
And that if you're choosing to work and support them, that is to encourage them to find somebody going at their speed. Get them connected, peer coaching, get them connected further up the line, get them connected with sidelines. It doesn't mean that you're going to hold them back. It means that there's other ways. Just like when whether it's personality or your sponsor's not working at the same speed as you, it's your responsibility to peer coaching, go higher up your line, find sidelines, get support elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yep. If you want to find fault in someone, you will 1,000% of the time. We all have faults that can be exploited. I got lots of them. And we can spend a lot of time pointing fingers for responsibility as to why a person isn't where they are, or suggesting that, oh, if only I were on so-and-so's team. I mean, maybe I could hope for all of you that you were under, Brooke or Emily's level 1. They know more than I do. Yeah, no, because that hope doesn't pay your bills. That hope doesn't conclude your vision board. Right? Yes, Sherry, what you focus on expands. Absolutely. And I love this. The payoff is huge. The payoff is so huge. And we've talked a little bit about convention and those things with regards to Plexus. Do I know what's happening this year? I have no idea. I really, really want to go to Vegas. For those of you who've never been to Vegas and Vegas isn't your deal, doing Vegas Plexus way is the only way to do Vegas. It is the only way. And I miss it. But we're just gonna have to keep our eye on the prize and just be like, we're gonna go to the next one. We're going to go to the next one, right? And we're gonna work to the next one, right? I did quickly want to touch on something technical, because there's some outdated information as far as dollar-wise in this video that I want to correct. Okay, so when we get paid bonuses on welcome packs, in Canada, we actually can't call them welcome pack bonuses. They're business builder bonuses, the BBB. And I believe that there is 1 week a quarter that we do not get a paycheck for our BBBs, and the amount from the previous week and that week will be combined in the next check. Because of the way that governmental rules are, you cannot have the same kind of structure. So technically, when in the States they say we get paid 10 ways, we still get paid 10 ways here, but it's considered 9 because the business builder bonus has to be classified as a seasonal incentive. Okay, that's just one of those things that we had to change when we opened in Canada. Now, with some of the changes that they've made in the last 12 months, we get paid less on welcome packs right now, and that's okay. So I'll tell you, when you sponsor a new ambassador, you get $20 US for a bonus for a small package. For a larger package, I believe you get 25. Hi, my name is Janelle. I'm an Emerald. I actually don't know all of the numbers. I don't know all the things. You don't need to know all the things. People will still join you if you don't know all the things. If you're like, you get like at least as much-ish, I don't know, we can check, but you're getting paid, whoop, awesome. And they'll be like, cool, right? It's awesome, all right? As the second line up of someone who's newly sponsored, you get $5, okay? It used to be that the first person got $25 and then the next 3 people like above them got paid as well. So like your last one was like $7 or something like that. I can't remember if that was like the converted rate. But the reason for that is, so when she's talking about when you run incentives for people to sponsor new ambassadors and you get together with your 3 uplines and you guys split the cost because everyone is making money off of that welcome pack, it's not the same anymore. It's just you and your level up, okay? But we get paid dollars on points on welcome packs, okay? If you are new within the last 12 months or just started working your business in the last 12 months, we did not used to get paid on welcome packs the first month that somebody bought one. That's why she talks about, I could project my next month's points within a certain this many, because she'd get all these people come in with their welcome packs and their subs on, and she knew those subs were going to stay on because she wasn't going to let them go off, right? So she knew what those points were. Now we can sign people up with a smaller welcome, with a triplex welcome pack, and you get your business builder bonus and your points. If I was going to approximate that, because our pay point slides, I'm going to say that it would be $35 US. Quickly, I want to explain the pay point because some people might be cloudy on it and it's a good refresher. So you are a shareholder in Plexus. Did you know that Plexus is not something that you can go and buy shares in? It is private. We are all shareholders with Plexus when we become business owners, okay? So we get paid depending on how well the company's doing and how much revenue is coming in, okay? So the pay point is not the same every month. The pay point takes into consideration, and that's why it takes so long for commissions to clear. That's why they usually aren't posted till about the 11th or 12th of the month. They need to make sure that all the ducks are in a row, and then they get all of the numbers together and they figure out how much the pay point is going to be. So they pay Our executive team gets 50% of the profits, like the people who run the business, they get 50%, and the ambassadors get the other 50%. So we're talking 50% on like the people who do the shipping and the people who answer the phones and the people that sit at the front desk at head office and whatever. That's 50% of our profit. 50% of our profit comes back to the ambassadors. And this is how they run, this is how Tarl and Alec run this business. If it's not equally as good for Plexus as to the ambassadors, or to the ambassadors as it is to Plexus, it's a no-go. It has to be equally beneficial for everyone. So they take the amount of commission, or sorry, they take the amount of profit, and the amount of profit dictates the pay point. Okay, so what else gets rolled in there? Well, now that we have points on welcome packs, our pay point went down a little bit because they couldn't just, the money had to come from somewhere, right? It's sort of like, I'll get political slightly for a second. When a new government comes in and they say, we are going to pay, for example, if a new political party came in and said, we're going to give free dental to everybody, wouldn't that be great? Free dental in Canada. And you're like, oh, that's great. So where's the money coming from? Right? Sometimes I swear they don't know where it's actually going to come from, right? But now you need to understand, because you're a shareholder in Plexus, where the money's coming from. So that pay point is determined on like how many new ambassadors came in. So when we had the gigantic influx in May last year of all of these new ambassadors coming in, and we were getting paid on welcome packs, and we had the, you know, all of the other heavy incentives and all those things, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, our checks are going to be so huge. And I mean, they were huge, right? But the pay point was down. And I'd stop and think about it for a minute. I'm like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense, because now we're getting paid on welcome packs. We weren't getting paid on welcome packs before. So that's going to affect the pay point. You know what else actually affects the pay point? Perks. Product's got to get paid for somehow. So people are redeeming their perks. It is something that also affects the pay point. So it used to be that we could say pretty much that it was going to be above $3. $3.10, I think, is probably one of the highest months. It's been around like $2.70, but it's because we're getting paid quicker, right? I would rather sit at a $2.70 pay point and have my new silver ambassador make an extra 45 bucks US on their first month. Way rather, right? Now, what could we do to affect the pay point positively? If everybody had a 200 PV, if the majority of people had a 200 PV sub on, we would have almost a $4 pay point. Another reason why it's really good for the entire business, for us to be talking about multiple products, it raises the pay point. So when I talk about pay points, we're talking, so your first level one through 3, everybody's worth 5 points, okay? So if Leanne and Amanda and Lisa were all my level 1s, I'd be getting 5 points, 5 points, 5 points, right? We do still work when we're multiplying everything out as a $3 pay point, because 3 is easier if you round up. And you might be a couple dollars short, but we'll say 3. So it's $15 a person. It's easy, right? And then their level 1s would all be 5 pay points for me. Their level 1s would all be 5 pay points for me. So we get paid the same on our levels 1 through 3. Also, why it's wonderful to be able to link arms with a family member and say, hey, come join me. And then they get your sister. They're the ones that get your sister in. And you're like, yeah, no, that's fine. You go with, like, if they talk to you first, if you really feel like you want to go with them, right? You guys can figure it all out. Yeah, I do say that too, Amy. If in Canada we use $3, that would take care of the conversion. That's correct. So then when we get to, so if you think about your level 1, 2, 3, this is where I get confused. 5, 5, 5. Your level 4 is 4 points. Your level 5 is 3 points. There's where it gets tricky. Level 6 is worth 2 and 7 is worth 1. And then you don't get paid any levels deeper than that. Okay. And it depends on what rank you are as to how many people deep you get paid. So I hope that that's sort of clear on the on our pay points. Does anybody have any questions about that? It's been like a minute since we talked about.
If there's any really good YouTube videos that you guys know that explain like all of the pay everything, I could use any pointers
I will.
because there's, I mean, for me, there's definitely confusion there, and I'm not a math person at all. So anything to help understand it.
You know what's easy? You say, we get paid really well. And most of the time, I don't even know what I'm getting paid for. Done.
That's how I feel, but not the well part. I'm not getting paid well yet, but I don't comes through in my email. I'm like, sweet.
I remember getting on Messenger with Eva and my upline and saying, I just got paid again. I have no idea why they just paid me $200. Like, are they sure? And they're like, just say thank you, Plexus, and move on. So I have learned that when I'm like, thank you, I'm sure it's right. I'll figure it out. It's fine. Okay. So I'm copying Sonia Dudley's latest. Where are we? Here we go. I'm copying, this was from 2019 though, so it may be off with the new welcome pack pieces, but when she breaks down like pay points and all those kinds of things, it will be correct. I wonder if she's doing another one. I don't know, she probably thought she was good when she did this one. Does anybody have any other questions? Because I know like our customer program is ridiculously generous, like ridiculously generous. If you wanted to work your tail off and only have customers, you could do that. But I really caution against that massively because I was a wholesale ambassador. And if I had never been in the team pages, if I had never been annoyed by all of the Plexus posts, I was annoyed, I never would have started to share. So be brave enough to annoy your people. And you know what? Be brave enough to be like, you know what? I think that they're going to commit. I'm going to roll the dice. And I'm going to be like, you know what? Let's put you as a wholesale ambassador. And I'm going to really work and I'm going to pray that we're going to be able to make you some money off of this. And you're going to love this. And you're going to tell other people. But please make sure your people know that they can tell people. Oh, I need to watch that Plexus compensation plan in 10 minutes. I wonder how quickly he talks. Nobody else has questions on the comp plan? Okay, so this I think is really important. Personal growth, don't just consume. What did that say to you guys?
I think you can hide behind personal growth and be fearful, right? And you can just keep consuming it under the guise that you're growing. But unless you're putting it to action, you ain't doing much, actually. Carrie, I'm speaking to Carrie, but it's a nice, safe place. I'm just growing. I'm just learning, right? So use it.
I love Kristen Abart talks about being a personal growth glutton. Don't be a personal growth glutton, right? You can read too many personal growth books and never use them and never be like, if you have the head knowledge, that's great. But if you don't put your feet into it and start walking it out, what was the point? You might as well have been reading like trashy romance novels for all the good that's doing you. Sherry, do you want to talk to that at all? Speak to that? I guess that's the more proper.
I will speak to that because that's been my life. I love personal growth. I love reading all the books. But now when I actually read the book, discuss the book, share the book, spend a week putting something into practice and trying it, it's a totally different space. I love listening to the trainings. I could listen to trainings all day. It does zero for my business. It does zero for my personal growth. Absolutely zero. So we talk about influence, and leadership is nothing more than influence. And leadership is where we're looking to go to grow our business. But to become leaders, we have to step up and do and be present and be intentional and act. So I think it's really, really critical to get in the ring. It's like the man in the arena. You have to get in the ring. So if you've got people and you want to help them share, help them write their story, help them tell their story, create a venue for them to tell their story. And as you do that for your people, then you actually really grow yourself.
And don't wait for your leader to do it for you. You can ask for help, but like Sherry and Amy and Cheryl and Marlene did last night, they were like, we're going to do this. And I got to come alongside and be like, well done. That's fantastic. I love it. Right? Don't wait around. If you have an idea, I mean, yeah, awesome. We're here. Bounce things off people. But if you have a burning in your belly, like a fire in your belly to do something,
do it.
Do it.
And in terms of doing it as a one plexus thing, we're doing an event Sunday night, 8:30. So if anybody wants to hop in, bring a friend, whatever. It's a 30-minute live, and there's 3 or 4 other posts, and it's a private Facebook group. So
love it.
Totally welcome.
So much. Thank
you. And if anybody's got an incredible sleep story, would you be willing to share it with us?
Go find Crystal Welk. She would love to, I'm sure. If nobody else here does, if somebody here does, do that.
I'm first talking to the people in the arena.
Yes. Even those of you with your cameras off.
Yep.
Awesome. I love it. I love One Plexus. It's the best. Investing is huge. We kind of talked about that, investing into yourself, but I know some people are so worried to invest into your business, into their businesses. If you were going to give somebody a $5 Starbucks gift card or pay $10 of their shipping so that you made $15 on their order, are you not still making money? Yeah. You don't have to do it all the time. You don't need to give the farm away. Be strategic in it, but don't be afraid to actually give back. Okay. Quickly, we want to talk about three-way messages. Quickly. And then I think we're good. Three-way messages are so fantastic for building belief, showing community, and assisting your leader in taprooting for later. Do my level ones and adopted level ones put me in three-way chats all the time? No, because they're brilliant and they can do their little fly little birdie thing and they can get their own ambassadors and whatever. But when they're starting, yes, we do that all the time. But as a team, because we treasure community and connection, we really love starting three-way chats, because if something heaven forbid were to happen to Diana, and she has to step away, but she's got a really great support system set up for her downline. So her daughter, Nicole, Nicole has relationships with her uplines who are in those chats. And Nicole can come to any of those people if she's having a massive issue, because she knows them. They're in her chat. They're not just some picture on the wall, which I love having these community calls. And I would hope that you guys know that you can come to anybody at any time, but it just furthers that connection and growth. As you get to be a leader, like a bigger leader with a bigger team. Diana says, and sometimes she doesn't want to listen to her mom, which again is perfect. I'm sure sometimes Amanda doesn't want to listen to her brilliant sister either. and that's okay. And you know what? I've seen the magic of it. Like, I love going into, for example, I love going into Carrie's support chats that she has and me saying something. And she'll message me and be like, I said that like 2 weeks ago. Why do they think when you said it, it makes sense? Because I said the same thing last week. I'm just giving you third-party validation. I'm just telling them how smart you are. I love that. I do that all day long. I'll tell people how smart you guys are. That's great. Yeah, Amy, I like that. She said, we listen. We just sometimes need rephrasing from someone we're not emotionally connected to. Well, I take offense to that because I hope that you and I are emotionally connected, but hey, that's okay. You expect me to give you a kick in the tush every now and again. She's referring to the fact that her mom is her upline. So if you guys did not know that. And you know what? I'm just going to say, this is the most beautiful picture of how family can work together. I love it. We have some beautiful, beautiful examples of that on our team. And I'm so blessed by it often. But get people into three-way messages. If you are starting somebody out and you're working with them to go silver and they're like, yeah, I don't know about the three-way chat. Sorry, non-negotiable. Remember when she was saying, oh, I don't want to reach around that person to talk to them. Remember we were talking? You are just as financially invested in that person and emotionally invested in that person as that person should be. Their upline. Does anybody want to talk about that while I sneeze?
I can say for one person specifically that's just come on with me, that would have been really beneficial. She's refused a three-way chat. And she had to go on to antibiotics twice in the last few weeks. And she said, I'm just going to go off my probiotics and all the things right now because it's not going to work. And I was like, no, that's good. That's preventative. Like, it'll be really great. It'll keep your, gut health in check while your antibiotics are killing off all the good stuff. And she's like, no, it's just too many things. I just don't think it's a good idea. And then I was like, well, I disagree. I suggest you don't. I think it'll be really good for you. Or I know it's going to be good for you. I actually put links to different things that like legit medical, I can't even remember what it was right now offhand. And then 3 days later, she was like, yeah, I should have stayed on those, but I'll start again today. I read this, blah, blah, blah. Well, had I had the three-way chat, there would have been, the same thing coming from different angles. She's just not ready to trust, I guess, the system yet. So it would have worked. She still refuses, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it would have worked better.
I think the other thing too is our positioning with it. And it's as we grow and the weight of what those chats can be becomes so important. It's just like adding people to the team page, right? And I'm not saying that you did something wrong. I'm just saying our conviction changes and we get bossy. We can get bossy with love, right? Like when I tell somebody that I'm going to add them to grow, I don't really tell them I'm adding them to grow. I said, hey, is it okay with you if I add you to our community support page? I really think that this is going to be an essential tool for your success. Can I pop you in there? Great. Adding them, send them a screenshot of it or a link, and they can go in. I very seldom have people that don't join. And it's not because it's, can we not ever call this again? My page? It's not my page. It's our page. It's everybody's page. Just happened to be the creator of the page. They don't know that. Actually, I love that they don't know that when they come in, right? It could be Carrie's page. I don't know. Right? And so when we start to realize that what we're actually offering them is like, people are far more successful when they join a support group. That's why Alcoholics Anonymous and like all of those types of groups are so successful, is because when somebody is in a group like that, they're so much more likely to succeed. And so when we paint the picture, like, okay, so I know you don't know these people, and that's okay, but they're brilliant. And I feel like I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't have their beautiful brains looking in on supporting you. And they are here cheering you on too, even though they don't know you. Awesome. Okay. I know we've run 14 minutes over and everybody wants to go over to the book study. So I'm just going to, because I'm really glad that anybody who left did. Thank you guys so much. And our last week is next week. And I'm so excited to learn more. So any other takeaways that we didn't talk about or you guys didn't get to share, please, please, please put them into the chat. We want to hear from you. We want to hear the way that your brain absorbed this, because there might be a light bulb moment for somebody else because they didn't take it that way or they didn't go along that trail. Your perception is so valuable and your input is needed in our chat. So thank you guys so much for today. Thank you for being here. And yeah, have a fantastic, fantastic Saturday. See you guys.